Hi, welcome to Unsightly Opinions. My name's Tamara. Today we are celebrating 3,000 subscribers with a Q&A. I couldn't possibly be happier to be celebrating with you all. I'm recognizing so many new usernames, so many new people in the conversation, in the comments. I love chatting with you guys, and I am so happy to be here creating content with you. Thank you so much for the support. It truly means the world, and it keeps me making content like this for you. I'm a little late to the party. I am sorry. I was sick for the last couple of weeks, but I am back. I thought, what better way to get to know all of you better, for you to get to know me. Without further ado, let's dive straight in. We've got some great questions. And I might be paraphrasing slightly on some of these, but I will do my best. Starting out, Juan Alcazar asks, are there any videos or projects that I would create differently now? Oh my goodness. What wouldn't I do differently? There are so many things that I've learned since starting YouTube about presenting, about energy, about what is going to give a compelling story. And I think the biggest one that sticks out to me right now is the albinism Q&A. I know that when you feel cringy about content, it's probably a good thing because it means that you've learned to do things differently, because you've grown as a creator, because a whole bunch of different things are now in play that weren't an option in the beginning. But that video sticks out to me in particular. It is, and I can't watch it because the editing is terrible. My presenting is awful. I am trying to give personality that isn't my actual personality. It comes off so corny, so fake, a little bit sassy, and that's not me in the slightest. It is awful to watch. So I would definitely go back and redo that one. There are so many things that I'd love to do with content now that I understand how it works. I just don't quite have the physical ability yet to figure out how to do them. Like, I'd love to figure out better ways to independently set up camera angles without sighted assistance, because there's so many different creative things that I'd love to do, but they always require a second person, and I like to create content independently. Lots of challenges that I'm still working on figuring out. Although, if I'm being truthful, as much as I want to say I'm happy with most of it, I'd probably redo almost every video I've ever done because I am type A and there's always something that I could improve on. Our next question is from Achromatic3. They ask, am I still streaming on Twitch? And if so, can I upload the recordings of the Twitch stream to YouTube so they can watch it later? This should be an easy question, but it's a little more complicated. I have not been streaming on Twitch for the last few months because some personal things have been a little bit more complicated. I do intend to continue streaming on Twitch. I hope to get back to it in the next couple of months once a few projects calm down, but it was just a time investment issue where I wasn't really happy with what I was able to put out, and I know there's a lot more games now that are completely blind friendly, so I'm very excited to get back in there. The second part of that question is, yes, I do intend to upload it to YouTube, and the reason I stopped uploading the streams to YouTube was because I was getting copyright striked on music that I had a license to use. But apparently they didn't recognize that I did, and I went back and forth several times and showed them that yes, I do have the license. They said, oh, okay, sorry, and then I'd post the next one, it would be the same thing all over again. So that made it a little bit complicated to upload the full streams to YouTube. I think what's going to happen moving forward is I'm just going to switch out that music, and then yes, once I am back streaming, absolutely, the videos will be up on my second channel, UnsightlyGaming, whenever we get back to streaming, and I'll probably mention it in a video over here once that gets back up and rolling. Our next question is from Chrissy Morgan. Chrissy wants to know what I am doing with my hair. Was I flat ironing before? Am I curling it every day? What's happening? So every couple of years, I cut off a braid, usually 12 to 16 inches of hair, and I donate it for kids with alopecia, cancer, because I figure my hair color is very unique, and there is probably going to be a need somewhere for somebody who has albinism or has very light colored hair, and I know it's very hard to come by. So I donate those braids every couple of years in the hopes that it'll help somebody else. And my hair is odd. When I was a baby, it was ridiculously curly, full-blown Shirley Temple ringlets every single day. When I was about 9, I started flat ironing my hair every single day because I hated how weird, wavy, uneven it got when it was really long, which is how I like to keep my hair. And then now, because it's short, it is pretty wavy, but there's some straight parts and there's some curly parts. So all I do now is I just twist it around my finger when I get out of the shower, put it in bobby pins for a little bit just to kind of tame it, and then I get really nice even curls all the way around. There was no real inspiration for the hairstyle change. I just wanted to manage it better without heat because it was starting to damage my hair. Both Anna Kate and Santino want to know about my favorite artists artist, what music I'm listening to. I had a very strange upbringing with music. My family is incredibly musical. Both of my parents were really type A, really career-driven people, but they were both also professional musicians as their side gig. My mom was a concert pianist, my dad was a pop jazz guy, and almost exclusively until I was about 19, Mozart, Beethoven, Haydn, any classical composer you can think of, that's pretty much where I was comfortable. I wasn't very into lyrical music. Then, through peer pressure, which was a good thing, I started exploring all kinds of other music. I would say at the moment, I love smooth jazz. I love a lot of instrumental music. I listen to a lot of light pop. I don't like bubblegum pop, but a lot of light pop I'll listen to. I'll listen to country. I'll listen to rock. I like classic rock. It's very eclectic. You'll find everything from musicals to pop to rap to country on my playlist. And it's very difficult for me to choose an artist that is all-time favorite because I have such a close relationship with music. I probably couldn't even name you my top 5 because there's so many different songs I like. I know that's a non-answer, but I'm doing my best here. I like music that tells stories, so I like a lot of Don McLean, I like a lot of Harry Chapin, I like a lot of Billy Joel, Sarah McLachlan, Alison Krauss. I really love Alison Krauss. So a lot of things by those folks. That's what I absolutely love. And anything that has a lot of instrumentation in cool or unusual ways. I hope that answers your question. I know I keep saying I'm going to share more about my music with you. I promise that is coming. It is in the works. It's just taking a little longer because I'm being a perfectionist about it. Harley wants to know, am I going to do a special celebration when I hit 10,000 subscribers? I think that's a little ways off, but if we get there, absolutely. And if you have any suggestions for what we should do to celebrate various milestones, let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you. Harley also suggests that I should promote my Discord. The reason I haven't been promoting that as much is I need a new link every 7 days, which is a challenge for video uploads because I don't want to update all 100 and some videos that I've done every 7 days, but there will be a fresh link if it's within 7 days on this video, if I remember. And if I don't, you can harass me to put it in. Louise Piano Keys wanted to know more about my style, fashion, makeup, and getting ready and how that influences me day to day. And she also wants to know if that's something I've always done. And I would say probably yes. My mother was a very put together lady. She had her hair, she had her makeup, she had her outfits, and she was dressed just so every day. So I definitely learned by her example, and she taught me the importance of how appearance can influence how others treat you. And while she lamented the fact that you should be able to dress however you want and you should be able to do whatever you want and people should accept you as you are, that's not the world we live in. So when you dress a certain way and when you do things a certain way, people are more likely going to behave the way you expect them to when you're put together. I took that a little bit too literally for a long time, and I was dressing the way I thought everyone expected me to dress rather than in a way that made me happy. Was I put together? Absolutely. Was I overdressed constantly? 100%. But I wasn't happy with what I was wearing. So over the last 5 years, I've gone through this transformation of truly wanting to self-express in my own way, not necessarily in the way that's socially appropriate. So I have always been a tremendous vintage lover. I love 1950s swing dresses in particular. I love the Victorian silhouette. I love 1700s Elizabethan gowns. Usually I'm not going to wear those out of the house, but I try to incorporate the fashion, the style, the silhouettes, the textures, the fabrics that I enjoy feeling, that feel comfortable on my body, and that really helps me feel motivated throughout the day because I've started the day with that one little activity. It feels like self-care. It feels like I'm just taking that extra moment to myself. Makeup is not for anyone else. As much as, yes, you can see it on my face, makeup is about taking that time to reflect. For me, makeup is a meditation, creating and doing something that is like painting on a canvas. And if somebody else enjoys it, great, but it's never for somebody else at this point. I only wear clothes that make me happy, not clothes that make someone else happy. And that's been a really positive thing. And I think if we can all be happy in the skin we're in, be happy with who we are as we are, we're going to get through the day a little bit easier. So for me, fashion is a way I can do that and express myself and say what I want to say with fashion. But that's not all the time. There's also days I'm in sweatpants and hoodies, and usually those aren't days that I'm on camera because those are the days that I'm not feeling feeling the best. But my fashion, I would say, almost always dictates what I'm going to be up to on that day. If I'm put together, if I've got hair and makeup on, if I've got makeup and hair and a cute outfit on, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take on the world. If I'm in sweatpants and a hoodie, I'm probably lounging around the house and having a me day. Both are acceptable, but I do also carefully monitor if I am doing makeup or hair or an outfit. Is that taking energy away from something that would better benefit from that energy? Because I do have limited energy, limited spoons on any given day. And if so, then the outfit doesn't go on. It's sweatpants, hoodies, something really comfortable. But generally, I would say my closet is very easy as is. There's very little work that goes into outfits. Everything has things that go with it. And there's not a lot of thought that goes into what I put on at this point. Quasar, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, asks, how do you find somebody for a relationship as a person with multiple disabilities? And they tell a little bit about their story of how their partner left them. And I'm really sorry that that happened to you. That's not fair. But what I would say is, if the person is going to leave you because you have a disability, if somebody isn't going to support you through the good times and the bad times, they're not the right person for you. There were many times in my life when I thought I was going to be alone, but it did eventually happen that I found Robbie. I'm not one to give a tremendous amount of advice in this area, but I would say if you are confident with who you are as you are, if you let your personality, your intelligence, your interests, your thoughts, your ideas come through when you're meeting someone, the disability is going to be an afterthought for most people. You have to be comfortable with yourself to share the real you with someone else. In order to find someone, it's going to take time, and it's not always easy to know if you're in the right place or with the right person. I always wanted to meet somebody in person, but I ended up going on online dating, and it was the right decision for me. But I had to be very clear with myself before I got in the relationship who I was at my core, what did I need out of a relationship, and what were the deal breakers, what were the things I could not live with if somebody had that going on. It's absolutely true that I'm sure for some people disability is a non-starter, but I know that Robbie will tell you that before he met me, he probably wouldn't have looked for somebody with a disability. So again, I think it comes back to being authentic, being yourself, and being confident as you are. Whether you have one disability or 30, it doesn't matter. You're a valid human being. You deserve to be loved, and there is somebody out there to love you. It just might take a while to find it. And I'd say if you're looking for that person, look in as many places as possible. Give yourself as many opportunities as possible. In person, online, put yourself out there so that you have the possibility of meeting someone. Neolithic 3 wants to know, do I have any funny or lighthearted stories about not being able to see? Oh my goodness. There are so many, but what comes to mind right now is I have made some truly horrific mix-ups in the kitchen. We used to get the Tetra Packs or the large juice box-like containers of apple juice, but chicken broth or vegetable stock or other broth also came in the exact same container. At this point, I wasn't aware that there was chicken broth in the fridge. I thought there was apple juice in the fridge, so I poured myself a really nice big glass. I wasn't paying attention and I took a real good swig. Oh, I spat it everywhere. And it was because I couldn't see that it wasn't apple juice. So ridiculous. Made a terrific mess. The same thing happened when I was underage. I reached across for what I thought was, again, juice. Ended up being beer. What I put in my mouth was not what I expected to be in my mouth. Sprayed everyone across the table. So yes, absolutely tons of mix-ups happen very often. And it's okay to laugh at yourself because everybody makes mistakes. So I'd love to hear some of your funny stories or funny mix-ups that have happened because you can't see. Let me know down below. Achromatic 3 also wants to know all of the tea about Robbie and I. There's not much tea. We have been partners for a little over 3 years. We initially met online. When we met for the first time, we went for coffee. I bought my coffee. I realized before we met up, I hadn't told him at this point I was blind and had a guide dog, so I panicked as he was arriving and texted him, "Hey, I'm upstairs, I'm the one with the dog," and then thought I'd try and deal with it once he arrived. Normally, any date I went on, I would try and tell the person beforehand that I couldn't see. That way there was no miscommunication or frustration or somebody thinking I was lying by omission or anything like that. But in this case, for whatever reason, it just hadn't come up organically, so I hadn't told him. And he handled it like a champ. He didn't even mention it. Although he said he thought it was very strange when he was coming in to meet me. He said, she's with her dog. Like, does she expect us to go out for a walk? It's -35. I don't want to go for a walk. And then he realized very quickly it was Patience was my guide dog, and we hit it off right away. It's been a wonderful thing, and I'm very grateful to have him in my life. Wes Cattle, sorry, I'm trying here, wants to know if there's any updates on my New Year's resolutions. Now I have to think back, what did I talk about in that video? Yes, I am absolutely still working on merch. It is coming, as are the sunglasses. I'm insisting on them being absolutely perfect before I give them to you. I don't want anyone buying anything that's garbage. That's very important to me, that if you do spend money, it is quality that you are getting for a reasonable price. Second is I have started coding in a language I've never coded in before, so it's been very challenging. But I have created a parser or a translator that takes music XML files, digital music or MIDI files, and it translates it directly into Braille, which you can read on a Braille display. You can put it into any kind of Braille editor and emboss it, or you could even play it back digitally. And that's been really, really fun. I am almost ready for beta testing. Not all of the features are implemented that I want in it yet. It's a brand new Braille code. It is not standard music Braille. It is very, very different, but I thought I would, as a musician, throw my hat into the ring and try and see if we couldn't update music Braille so it was a little easier to learn, not only as a beginner music student, but also in a way that makes sense from a 21st century perspective, because as far as I know, music Braille is still using the same code that was originally developed by Louis Braille, which makes absolutely no sense in the 21st century in any language. So I thought if we can make an easier, more universal symbol that works with UEB, that works universally with all Braille codes, that's going to be a pretty amazing thing. So if you know music, if you know a little bit of Braille, and you might be interested in helping me out with that, I will be releasing the translator for free. I would love for you to connect with me. If you know how to code, even more so, I'd love if you could connect with me. If you know anything about Music XML, Python, Music 21, anything like that, yes, please talk to me. I really want to put some good things out into the universe, and I want to make sure that it's accessible for everybody. So I'm hoping you might be able to help me with that. There will be a whole video explaining the whole system. The third thing, just found out about yesterday, I bought a house. I am so excited, and I don't even have words. I didn't think this was going to be a possibility, but I was able to find a house, and I was able to put a deposit on it, and it's happening, and I'm going to actually be able to turn a space into something I would really want from an accessibility standpoint, and I'm so excited. I mean, I had to save for over a decade to get to this point of being able to afford it, and I don't want to brag or push it in someone's face, but I'm very happy. I feel extremely accomplished, and I'm very excited to share it with you. So that leads me to a question. Because this home is presently not accessible from either a blind or a physical disability standpoint, would you like me to make videos showing the empty house, showing the renovation room by room, or would you like me to just show before and after? Is that something you're even interested in seeing? I'd love to know any and all perspectives. Again, I just want to come at it from a point of accessibility, and accessibility especially on a budget, and I'll try and put it in a perspective of if you're renting, what you can do in your own space that might work. So I definitely want to talk about appliances and what I was able to figure out there. The modifications to this house, I can't afford to have designers or contractors or people come in to do a lot of the work. There's some things I absolutely cannot do. I have an electrician coming in to fix some very serious electrical problems above my pay grade, but most of it I'm going to be DIYing myself. So are you interested in how I paint and use power tools and all of that stuff and what works? So yeah, I'm excited to hear from you. I have lots of questions for you too. I want to get to know what your thoughts, questions, feelings are. If you need more content, there are tons of shorts coming out all the time. I am here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. If you need more content, I just released a video talking about how much money I made last year on YouTube, which might might surprise you, or you can go back and watch the New Year's resolutions and remind me everything that I haven't done so far, including properly maintaining my weekends off. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. We'll get there, but I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate all the support. Bye for now.